Welcome to Snapshot 2 of DEADROP. We're finally here. It's been a long journey to get to this point. I can't believe how much we've accomplished in such a short amount of time. And of course, I'm joined here with Becca Miller, Quinn Hoyo, my partner in crime, co-founder of Midnight Society. And we are so excited to drop Snapshot 2 on you guys. I know a lot of variants have already been playing it since noon. Now is our time to run through everything that you can expect from this snapshot, give you a little insight on the process, a little insight on the feedback, little taste of everything, hear from members across the entire spectrum of the team. What are you guys excited for today, guys?
What are we not excited for? I mean, I'm excited for just being able to play multiplayer, competitive multiplayer against other people, the founders, go in there, do some looting, do some scooting, do some sneaking around, do some shooting, all that kind of stuff. So I'm feeling pretty hyped about it. I don't know. What do you think, Becca?
Are you actually going to be shooting people? I was just going to hide out in a container somewhere.
I'm going to try.
Well, you can try it. Come find me.
That's the key word, try. I've been watching people stream it all day, and I am not looking forward to getting in there. We've been playing the playtest. I'm holding my own in the playtest and watching these people already mastering the core movement that's in there. I'm getting a little nervous. I'm not going to lie.
Shout out to Melly Belly.
Oh, yeah, I was watching her play earlier. I watched her first drop in. But so now that we're here, let's take a look back at what it took to get from Snapshot 1 to Snapshot 2. Welcome to the first ever variant founder event for Midnight Society. Live! Who's ready to know the final name of the game? What we're doing here has never been done.
There's so many things that have been retread.
I'm excited about this, and to be honest with you, this could be something that turns out really, really
good. You guys will notice is the fire select. We got the yeah, and then we got the yeah.
Don't show the toes, don't show the feet. I'm going to show the toes.
Midnight Society has done so much. Doc has done so much. Let me hear what you think about DEADROP. Let's get loud, please.
Oh my goodness, it feels amazing. The energy here is great. DEADROP was an amazing game to play. I can't even describe in words how excited I am.
We're Team Summertime. We're a content trio for Optic Gaming, and thank you guys. Thank you.
Summertime.
Now I'm going to control the recoil. Holy shit!
Done plenty of games in development where you go dark, and then you hope you have something at the end that people really like.
We expected it to take a while. The fact that people are already starting to do what we started 6 months ago, I love to see it. I want more people to include their community. We're not trying to corner the market on that. We're trying to change the industry so everybody does it.
Call that a pre-alpha test. Them even showing that 95% of gaming companies are not going to show you that.
So yeah, thanks again to everyone that came out to LA. It was so awesome to meet you guys. Part of why we do this, a big part, is you, the community, and being able to be transparent with you guys and have those discussions and meet you and get your feedback. Everyone that submitted a feedback form for Snapshot 1, thank you. We literally read through all of them. It was 3,000 responses or something crazy like that. And we divided them up amongst 4 or 5 of us on the team. And then relayed them to the rest of the team. And a big part of that was our new game producer, Allison Hughes, who is a huge part, obviously, of the development process. Without her, a lot of stuff would not go smoothly. So with that, let's hear from Allison on the specifics of Snapshot 1 feedback. Allison?
Thanks. Let's get into it. First and foremost, thank you to the founders for taking the time to share your thoughts and feedback on our first snapshot with us. We read each and every one. I'm just going to pretty much go through an overview of the results of the feedback we received. So I'm going to start with movement and jumping. Overall, most of you found movement to be a little too slow, which tended to be the case for people on both high and epic video quality. Jumping garnered mixed reactions, ranging from somewhat dissatisfied to satisfied, but most of you were satisfied with jumping, rating it a 4 out of 5. An obstacle course was requested for various movement types, such as jumping, climbing, sliding, and strafing. And also the word parkour came up a lot. And moving on to weapons, most of you found the rifle fun and easy to understand. And the most requested weapon was a sniper rifle, which will be coming in a future snapshot. Which particular snapshot hasn't been determined yet, but more to come on that. There are also a lot of mentions of attachments and customization as well. And moving on to firing ranges. Of the 3 firing ranges available, most of you voted the lower exterior range as the most fun. The exterior outer range was the second most fun, with the interior range in a close third place. All 3 were considered easy. And another popular request was a recoil control trial. And most of you would also like to see to create custom challenges as well. And now into the hideout. Nearly all of you want to invite other players to your hideouts. So decorations, variant-related customizations, and ways to show off were the most desired hideout features. So in conclusion, almost all of you want an immersive, fun, personalized hideout experience that is just as fun to spend time in as the tower. So hanging out with friends, strategizing, playing mini games, or just sitting back and enjoying the view. And almost all of you love the environment and atmosphere, but wanted things to be brightened up a little bit, which we did for the snapshot. Most of you wanted more settings and controls, customization options, including an FOV slider, which we implemented a couple weeks ago. A lot of you want to be able to hone your skills through interactive obstacle courses and firing ranges, challenges, and the ability to replay encounters. Most of you want ways to flex or show off via stats, trophies, gear displays, etc. Crafting and customization should be immersive and intimate as opposed to just having an icon that opens a menu. And lastly, a lot of you love the lore and want more of it. We're so excited to be building this game with you all. Thanks for being an important part of the process. Our dev team is the dream team, and we can't wait to share what we have in store for the next snapshot.
Thank you so much, Allison. Like, this process is split into 2 major things, right? We have the fun moments, like today when we get to drop a new snapshot. We all jump in there together. We're playing it. We're getting a feel for it. We're having fun. And then there comes the work after, right? And I'm so grateful for Becca and Allison and Lucy and the entire team at Midnight Society who has been putting in that work of collecting and reading every ounce of feedback that you guys, whether it's on Discord or it's in the feedback form or it's with you just talking organically on your Twitch stream. I know a lot of you have seen myself and many other Midnight Society members drop it into your Twitch streams. And that's what we're going to be doing through this whole process. It's about playing together. It's about listening. And it's about taking that feedback and incorporating it. And one of the big things you're going to notice in Snapshot 2 is we've already taken a lot of that feedback that came in SS1 and incorporated things like the FOV slider, advancing controller support. We're not all the way there yet, but it's coming, right? Like, we've got gameplay fully supported by controller. UI and menus are next. We've added a lot of UI in this menu, in this snapshot. So if you dropped into the Proving Ground already, you see there's whole looting mechanic, there's stash inventory, a lot of new stuff coming in. And that feedback that you're getting is extremely important because that's the stuff that lays the seeds that we can then water, implement, put into the build so that we can be playing it in next snapshots and future snapshots, right? And these things are going to be a variety. Some things are fast. Some things we can get in a hot fix, get it in before the next snapshot. Other things are going to take a long time, right? Like, a lot of you were like, hey, I want to customize my player hideout. I want to invite my friends in. I want to bring my party in. I want to show off my best loot that I extracted with. That stuff we love. We are definitely going to incorporate it and find ways that it fits within the lore and narrative of the game when you guys are passionate about it. But those are also features that are going to take a while, right? So you might see a little bit of it come on. Maybe you'll see an armory be added, right? Then you'll see the ability to customize. These things come in on pieces. We play them, we iterate on them, we fine-tune them, we art them up. And now Snapshot 2 is the perfect showpiece for this type of development, this open development, because you're going to see things that are in white box stage. You're going to see things that are in proxy stage. You're going to see things like the player hideout from Snapshot 1 that are in the refinement and polish stage, right? And so part of this whole process is not just playing the game early, but bringing you on the inside of the fold into the development process when things are at their very, very early infancy, when things are early on, so that we can talk about things like gameplay, pacing, stuff that is like core to the experience, and not be distracted by the visuals. And then there's other times when we're dropping just hotness that is all about the visuals, and we want to bring you along every step of the way. So I'm going to throw it back to Becca, who's going to introduce the members of the team to dive deep on the process of what it takes to get these snapshots finished and what you can expect now and in the future.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. So a lot of you obviously love the look of DEADROP. We've gotten so much positive feedback from you, like overwhelmingly positive, on the graphics and the visual style and the vibe. So thank you for that. The art team is super, super excited to hear that feedback. With that, we have art director Darren Bacon on here to talk about what Rob was just saying with the different stages of art and how you won't always get like a super polished snapshot, but that's kind of the fun of being part of the dev process with us. So with that, Darren, take it away.
All right. Yeah, awesome. So I'm going to talk a little bit about snapshot art stages. So the snapshot art stages is an idea we're developing internally between myself and the tech art director and the art leads. And the high level idea is we want to communicate to the community what development stage we are at so that the player can see and understand where we are in the pipeline. The main categories we are staking out are blockout, proxy, refinement, and polish. So the blockout is essentially designer geo. It's very early stage on the map development, and actually there's very little art involvement at all. Maybe we'd have concept kicked off at this point and there's loose ideas about the map being kicked around, but ultimately all we really need for this stage is to have design intent laid out. Like for example, map flow, distances, gameplay features taken into account, etc. The next step is proxy. It is art intent showing up in the map for the first time. For example, maybe there's a block on the street and now we can ID that as being a Jersey barrier. In this stage, material types can be assigned, including roughness. Lighting does a pass. The lighting is refined and needs to show final intent, working for gameplay. This allows us to stand up the game and also begin to get an idea for performance. In this phase, ideally all geometric details in the frame so that we can begin to nail down sight lines, as well as from an art standpoint, the extra geo aids that goes into texturing, goes into aiding texturing and lighting. The next stage is refinement. The refinement stage is the awkward years of the art pipeline, or the teenage years of the art pipeline. And we want to be careful how we show this. So our tech art director, Howard, is developing a series of shaders we can use to overlay like a watermark on our refinement assets in a way that is very subtle and non-intrusive, so that the players know there's progress being made, but what they're looking at is not final. This shader system solve is going to be our key to development on the art side for this asynchronous style of asset making. And then lastly is polish. And it's just that this is art's time to go through the map and level up assets from the refinement stage to shippable quality. And that's snapshot art stages as we have defined it so far.
Awesome. Thanks, Darren. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy to like see it broken down in such a way that is like very insider, right? Before I worked in games, I would not have known these terms. I would have been like, what am I looking at? This looks like not great. But, you know, I think anyone that appreciates art and that plays games a lot too has an appreciation too for the process. It's, you know, it's just really awesome to see that. So I'm excited to show it.
Yeah, that's something that's really great that we're excited for as well, Becca, is just the process. And this is something you don't see developers doing. And we don't say this because we want to toot our own horn or anything like that. It's not about that at all. It's actually, we say that because it's just something that's exciting. And we like to share what we are doing, and we do it all the time internally, but we also want to do it outwardly to everyone out there as much as we can. And when we share and then hear back, that gives us energy. That's the fuel that lights our fire. And so when we hear Darren talking about this process of block out and a proxy and, refinement and polish, that is just one of the things that you're going to be seeing throughout all of our snapshots. And so let's talk a little bit about what people are going to be playing in Snapshot 2, which is the Proving Ground. And the Proving Ground right here is largely going to be made up of blockout and proxy is what you're going to be seeing. There's not going to be seeing much of anything that's refinement or polish. We had a little bit of those stages in Snapshot 1, but this is where we are really hyped about bringing this snapshot forward, is because it's deliberately in this blockout proxy form. It's deliberately work in progress. It's something that's very clear to the players that they're along for the ride. They're here to see how the dish is cooked in the kitchen. They're here to see how the sausage is made. Any type of metaphor you want to use, we're all here for it. And that's what Midnight Society is all about. And in particular, DEADROP, the way we're developing this game, we want to bring people along for the ride. And that's why Snapshot 2 is crucial for us. And some of the things that you could be seeing and looking at when you're playing this experience is the Proving Ground it's exactly that. It's a proving ground for us as a team, the game team. It's us to prove out our scale, right? We're trying to try the scale of our combat ranges, our sight lines. We're trying to get our vertical combat nailed down a little bit there. So that's why it's a proving ground for us in that way. It's also a proving ground for our founders and our variants, the people that are going to be playing it, because they're going to be going in here and practicing and learning, playing the core gameplay loops that we've implemented the past 6 weeks. We do have loot. We have loot containers. We have an inventory system. There's lots of UI elements that have been added. We've got new weapons that have been added. So all these things are there, but still early and rough. And again, that is something we're excited for. In this experience as well, in the Proving Ground, you're going to be battling across 3 major points of interests, like the comms relay, the shipping hub, the filtration center. Players will be able to see the names of where they're at traversing through the environment in the lower left-hand corner. And for this Proving Ground, this area for us, this is in the lore, this is like essentially V1 of the tower that players are going to be eventually making their way to. It's older tech. There's things in there like we talk about the comms relay. This is all a little bit in our imagination as we get there, but it is the older form of the tower. The tower is the big dog. It's the thing that is brand new, shiny, and it has its things that it's doing there. And players are going to get that peek and get into that tower soon enough to see what is inside there. What is the treasures that has in store, the secrets it's hiding, all of that. So that's where the Proving Ground for us is this really fun place for not only us to be building out to test all these things, but also for the players to be playing, and we want to hear all their feedback. So with all that being said, I'm really looking forward to getting in there and playing with everyone. I had a game earlier where I played with 2 amazing people. We had no comms. We just crouched to each other and we just realized, okay, now we're teammates. And the 3 of us played for a good while until I was able to extract. But I'm just looking forward to getting back and playing more of that. And for more on what we got in store for Snapshot 2, I'm going to toss it back over to Becca.
Awesome. Thanks, Quinn. So, along the veins of art, because this is a very art-heavy live stream and we love art, but we do have some gameplay stuff coming later. One thing you guys were super impressed by at LA was the garage. And so here to talk about both the garage and just our general process for concept art is Steve from the concept team. So take it away, Steve.
So what I will do usually is have a meeting with Rob, and we'll start to discuss ideas. And sometimes I will hear things in the other meetings I'm having, in the gameplay meeting or something like that. And I will hear something and I will try to take that and create some kind of visuals for the art team to run with, and sometimes just lore pieces for the variant guide as well. But usually in the instance of the garage, I heard Rob talk about, I believe it was how the players would be interacting with the play space initially. And then he brought up the idea that maybe a garage would be something they could play with. Like, you got the workbench and then you have your garage. And so I heard that and I was like, oh, that is a great idea for a concept. So I then took that and proposed it to Rob in one of our creative meetings, and then just kind of started to run with it. And I took that and applied my own personal touch and vision to it, and started the conversation within the gameplay team. And then that's kind of where I handed off to the gameplay to do their own thing with it. So the piece I create won't necessarily be what the garage looks like in game, but it will be the conversation starter, the spark that really kick that off for everyone. And then I like to, where I can, bring in little bits of lore. So if you look in that piece, there's movie posters and there's labels and, like there's magnets and graffiti on the little mini fridge. Things like that, where I can actually build out the world and try to build out the world in a way that, like, it's fun and it fits too. So I'm always putting little Easter eggs that I hear in like Doc's stream or conversations had in the Midnight Society, and then try to bring in things that actually fit within the Midnight Society and the game itself, DEADROP.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Easter eggs. I love a good Easter egg. You guys see a lot of Easter eggs that I'm putting out on socials. Yeah, awesome. So next to talk about concept art is Eric. Eric also is going to talk about a little bit more of the environment around your vehicle in the garage. So Eric, you're up.
Thanks so much. I'm Eric Hallquist. I'm a concept artist at Midnight Society. In early concept for the garage and creating that space that the players can access in the hideout, we were thinking a lot about maintaining the theme of what the hideout currently is, and that would be somewhat. It's like a mixture of like brutalist architecture and industrial, and think of like a warehouse that used to have some sort of purpose, and that's kind of what that is. But we were thinking during concept for the garage, we were thinking about maintaining that and also creating a space that felt relatively large enough where players could kind of run around and explore a little bit, but also it would center around the car. And that was all established through just early discussions. Yeah, working together as like in the creative team, we had a lot of discussions about that. And yeah, I think everyone's going to be really, really stoked to see what we put together for that so far, at least. And yeah, super exciting. When we were working on the proving ground and how the creative team went from early concept to the DEADROP's first PvP experience, we were focusing a lot on, again, the theme of what this space was going to be. So in the very beginning, we were given a block out of the space, so there was no detail in it whatsoever. It was just a lot of a lot of primitive shapes and just super simple. So I think the theme that we have was there's 3 sections. One is a it's like a space dust transport like facility, if you will. So that ties into the lore. We have a communications tower, which is really, really cool. And we also have an air filtration facility. And that also, again, ties into the lore and how this city is just engulfed in disgusting mist that's polluted. And, it's very hard to breathe. So this is going to be a really cool space to explore. But yeah, we kind of just worked on that and thought what might be cool in terms of the working that into the design of the space. So like, if I guess a good example could be there's there could be like a silo, right, and that's used to filter some of the air, and then there could be platforms that connect to it around. So those would be cool places to explore and really kind of soak in the PvP experience. But yeah, super excited for that, and can't wait for you guys to see it. During the creative process, when we were concepting the drops for the players, so what this is when you kill a player, they drop something. That could be a crate. Generally in other games, it could be a crate or a bag or whatever. But in our game, we wanted it to be relative to what the character would already be carrying. So, for example, the character has a bag on their back. We would want that to translate into what drops on the ground, and that bag could be several different types of quality and tier. It could be high tier, like a rare tier, legendary, etc. But we decided to just go for a common bag that drops, and yeah, it was a lot of fun to work on the concepts for that. But again, tying into the design, aesthetic, and theme of the world that we're building. And then as far as what I'm most excited for Snapshot 2 is the Proving Grounds for sure. I had a chance to play it more than a few times, and it's already at a really cool place where we're starting to see how the movement from Snapshot 1 is being integrated into a space like that. And from this point on, I mean, it's only going to get better. It's already a lot of fun. So yeah, just I'm very stoked to be a part of this, and I can't wait for you guys to play it for yourself.
Thank you so much, Steve and Eric. And really, as I'm saying in chat, as I've been saying along this whole time, is we want to bring you along for this journey. It's not just about playing the game, it's about being involved in the development. And the more that our audience, our variants, our fans can understand and have context for why things look a certain way, why animations might be at a certain point, why white boxing is important before you fully are at a level, that's just going to help us have more healthy, constructive, actionable conversations about how to improve features, how to get to where we want to be. Because listen, we have a monumental task ahead of us. We want to be the best first-person shooter in the world when we launch to non-variants. And that ain't going to happen overnight, and it ain't going to be easy, right? Nothing about this is easy. But how we're going to get there is by playing it every day, giving real constructive feedback. Like I saw people in chat saying like, hey, don't blow smoke up their ass. 100% right. This is about getting into the nitty gritty, understanding how it's built, refining, iterating on it, polishing it, playing it over days, weeks, months, actionable stuff that we can put into the game and loop it around again. So I love Darren walking us through the process. Steve talking about how an ideal in Discord could go from an ideal to concept to something that appears in game like the garage. Right? If you guys remember at our LA event, we talked about, hey, what should this space be? What should we do in there? How should we get to the tower, right? We saw people talking about like building vehicles, using vehicles to get to the tower, launching out from the player hideout. All of that stuff is fantastic, right? And saying it at the event goes into our ears, goes back to the studio, goes into a creative meeting, becomes a concept, gets built out in Unreal, shows up in a snapshot. That is the process. And I love it. And like, speaking of that, let's move into Snapshot 2, right? Because one of the key things in Snapshot 2 is the fact that we have PvP now, baby. We have multiplayer. You can jump in, you can get kills, you can loot those bodies, you can loot containers around the map. If you're good, you can extract out, right? Stash that stuff in your player hideout or fight till the end. The last player in the match, either by everybody else extracting out or everybody else getting killed, gets the dead drop. What is the dead drop? This is something that came from us playtesting internally, right? We're playing and we're like, all right, we're loving the extracting, we're getting the flow, we're building the basis of gunplay. This is really good, but what's our unique dead drop personality? What makes us different from the other extraction shooters? What makes us different from the other first-person shooters that we're going to be competing with in a couple of years? And that's where this concept of dead drops started bubbling from the top, right? We're talking about like how can we sort of encourage people not to just extract always? Like, what's the reward if you are like just slaying and you're in there getting a lot of kills? And we started playing around with a few different things, and this idea of the dead drop really bubbled from the top. And I want to throw it over to Alex because I feel like he's the one that really connected the dots for us and was like, hey, what about this? And we're like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's put it in. Let's play around with it. Let's see what the community thinks, because that's what this is about. Not deciding amongst ourselves, but putting it in, playing it, and us all talking about it. So, Alex, why don't you dive into a little bit of how we got to the dead drop?
Thanks, Rob. Hi, I'm Alex Fennell. I'm the Technical Director of Game Infrastructure here at Midnight Society, and I'm responsible for making sure that everybody inside the company is working efficiently, and I'm one of the people that gets out to the founders. The story of how we came up with the dead drop and the connection there was we had a game feedback session, and Rob really wanted to figure out ways to encourage people to stay in the game and not extract early, to become that king of the hill and fight your way to the finish. And we were having a hard time coming up with a way. And I just, from my experience watching a lot of other similar genre games, I thought about, well, what if, you know, the winner was able to take their selection of the spoils, and victory was, you know, getting a bonus out of that. And Rob put together that idea and connected to the name, and we came up with the dead drop. And it was one of those moments in game development that just worked. It was perfect. It was, you know, we couldn't have planned it better if we tried.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful that we were able to get this concept into Snapshot 2, because like we want to move fast, right? We want to move fast. If there's an ideal, there's no reason not to get it in as fast as possible. Now, unfortunately, that's what led to the delay of a week, right? Like, because every time a new ideal comes up, if a new ideal comes up in the community or comes up in a playtest and we want to chase it, we have the freedom to do that. But we have to have real, honest conversations with ourselves about scope and timing, and like, all right, what's it going to take to get into the build? The dead drop was a perfect example of that. Like, just something magic came together that really closed the loop, made it feel tight. And I can't wait for you guys to get into the snapshot, earn a few dead drops, give us feedback on it, right? Because how it's in the build right now, it's not necessarily how it has to stay. It's definitely not how it's going to stay. We already have ideas on how to iterate that, because the goal is to make it feel rewarding. So you get that final kill. We want you to be able to get the loot of the person you killed, as well as, you know, pick something. Now, right now, you can sort of take all. You can take all remaining drops in the map. But we're looking at ways to iterate on that, because once we're in, you know, 100-person matches, that amount of loot is not going to be sustainable, right? So we're going to iterate on that ideal, but we need you to play it, get wins, get dead drops, get some good extractions, give us feedback on how that loot feels, where the restrictions should be, where they should not be, because we can play around with all that and make sure that we're doing hot fixes, we're mixing up the play types and all of that. Now, a good way to know things that we're thinking about internally, some ideals that are early, like blue sky phase, is by reading the variant guide. So every time that you get a new build in your profile, you also get a new issue of the variant guide. There's a lot of artwork in there that shows the process of what went into the current snapshot. But at the end, we always do like a little teaser lore piece that's in the codex operandi that you have to decipher. And that's normally a tease or hint about something that's not quite ready to be in the snapshot, but something that we want you to start thinking about, right? So make sure you're reading that snapshot, checking out things like the refinery piece that we have in there now, the space dust, because that's where we start laying the sort of teasery building blocks to future characters, future classes, future environments, to get everybody's creative juices flowing, so that we can, you know, start talking about what's coming in the next snapshot or the future snapshot. So make sure you go through all of that. But for now, you know, let's bring the team back together. Quinn and Becca, come back in here, and then dive into, you know, what are we expecting? What are the key features that we're looking at for Snapshot 2? So looking at Snapshot 2, now that it's in the hands of players, Quinn, what are the things that from the game team's perspective that you really want to get feedback on and focus on?
Yeah, that's a good one, Rob. I think there's a few areas really that we're kind of looking at, and that is like our level design, our interactions, like the speed of interactions, and also just some baseline questions. And just to riff a little bit on the baseline questions, uh, we're going to be releasing these snapshots. That's how we're making the game. And so every snapshot, we want to understand, how are we doing? How is the game doing? How are people feeling about things? And so that's where some of these baseline questions are that we're going to start asking now, which is like plain and simple. How fun was this snapshot, right? 1 to 5, how fun was it? And that is really important for us, even though it's a very simple question. It's important for us because we'll be able to see a trend once we establish this baseline. We'll see how people are feeling about every snapshot. We'll get a better understanding with our conversation going forward with the founders, what they like, what they don't like, how can we tweak this, what are the things we really need to double down on, all of that stuff. And then from a level design viewpoint, what we really want to know is, what do people think of the proving ground? How do they feel about the sense of verticality in there? Is it the right amount? Is it not enough? Did we do a good job there? Because our level design is super crucial for this game. It's everything for this game in a lot of ways when you think of the tower that we're going to be playing in and all of that in mind. So we're really ambitious on our level design. And this is just the very first snippet of the direction we're trying to go. And internally, we're already iterating and far ahead of what people are playing in Snapshot 2. So this is what's crucial for us, is these early builds, getting them out, having this survey, and being able to hear back from the people. And then on top of that, it's just the interactions and how people are playing and how do they feel about the things that we have, the interactive elements we have in there, like the elevators and being able to, things like interacting with the containers, is the speed, all of those things. Since they're all new features that we've done in the past 6 or 7 weeks, we just want to know how people are feeling about them. So there's always going to be baseline questions and snapshot specific questions that we're interested in. So that's more or less what we're looking for. But on top of that, outside of the survey, what we're really looking for is just, again, building our relationship with the founders, hearing more from them, really engaging with them, and seeing what they like and what they don't like, and then how can we keep molding this game of Dead Drop together.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And like to Quinn's point as well, we're taking feedback from the survey that's on the website, but we're also right now, if you guys jump into Twitter, you can tweet us your questions, and we will try to get through as many as we can in our short time on this stream. But make sure you use the hashtag Midnight Society Qs. That's Midnight Society QS. I already see like a ton of questions coming in, so you guys have been using that. That's great. But yeah, let us know what you want to know about.
I love it. And I see chat blowing up with asking for gameplay. And you know what? It's a double-edged sword here, right? It's all about the fun and the work. I think we've got through the work part of it, right? The process, what it takes to get these snapshots out, what it takes to get you guys involved. And now it's time to jump into the fun part. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to watch some of the devs who are currently playing with a lot of variants right now while we get set up. And then when we come back here, we're going to do a live Q&A. So any questions that you tweet or have already tweeted, we're going to be going through it, answering your questions. Make sure you have everything you need to know about this snapshot covered away. But at any point, the build's available. Jump in, start playing with the devs. And as soon as the AMA wraps, Quinn and we're also going to jump in there and start playing with everybody.
I'm going to be there too.
And Beck, you said you were hiding in a crate.
Well, I'm still going to be in the build. I'm not hiding like in a Amazon box behind me or something.
I can't wait to find you. I'm now going to check every shipping container in the proving grounds until I find you. But great, let's jump over and watch the devs, slay it up, and then we'll be back for the Q&A.
me there. I'm there too.
Hey Ryan, is there an easy way to back out or just close the exe? Can you like re-queue?
Do we have to restart our clients?
I think so. I think that's the fastest.
Wait, you're talking about if you just get kicked back to the main menu?
No, the matchmaking stops everyone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just restart.
Where?
Excuse me. Dude, how do I get up there?
Oh, Brad's live.
And one other guy,
I got pissed
and I have no idea where
you
he is. So I'm gonna get out. So that in my next game I can bring in the rifle from the very beginning, because the first few seconds are like ridiculously chaotic. So I'm out. But I'll be back.
Alright, I'm gonna go back into a match.
Okay.
That's good.
Which shotgun is good? Like, what's the best one, Prez?
How dare you? They're all beautiful.
Yeah, they're all different. Just depends.
B's really good for up close. A's pretty good all around, and then D's really good for range, especially maybe, perhaps, potentially in the future.
Does anyone still Does anyone?
C's really good up close. The double barrel.
I'm queuing up in case you guys are at the same time. That'd be great to get in the same match, but we'll see.
I just got in. I'm in 17 with 17 other players right now.
Yeah, me too, Prez.
Oh yeah.
So C is the best up close shotgun?
Yeah, if you're like point blank, it'll annihilate them even in this build in one shot.
That's the information I was looking for.
And then far away, you probably want D. And then A's good all around.
Does D actually only carry 2 rounds?
No, that's C. That's the double barrel up close one. One shot
that's
is enough. Yeah, that's the 2.
Gotcha.
D's 5. Oh shit! I just came across a dead body. Wow, they had no health. I got so lucky. They had a shotgun. I had a pistol.
Damn it.
Man, there's 3 backpacks here in this hallway. Shit went down. I just did, and I kind of regretted it.
You don't know. They might have brought in a lot of stuff.
He brought a pistol. He brought pistol light. It's like a VT fall.
Yeah.
Someone shooting at me.
I guess further down the line, if someone, depending on the actual size of the backpack they drop, you might have a better indication of if it's worth going to pick it up or not.
I feel like when it's quiet, we're like ridiculously focused.
I'm down to 3 people.
I gotta go get help.
I'm going to win this.
I swear someone's right on top of me.
I have a long range. Shit.
Got 8 people in my game.
Sitting at 12 right now. Got nothing.
We must be in the same game.
Yeah.
Brad, you have 12?
Yeah, and I might be the one who's right on top of you, Ryan. Maybe.
That's awesome.
Maybe. Where are you right now? I just saw you.
That's me.
How do you know?
I don't know if you just saw me. Well, wait, did you just die?
No, I'm alive.
Oh,
is that
okay,
you? Is that you? Is it you?
Yeah, don't kill me though.
Okay, I'm coming with you.
I wanna live.
Let's team up. No, for real, let's team up. I'm coming down.
Wait, I don't see you though, so make sure it's me.
Well, I'm because.
Am I firing a shotgun in the air?
No, you're not anymore.
Okay, do not approach.
Was that you? I don't think so.
No, that's not me.
Okay, well, I thought he was. Okay, it's a good thing we clarified that. He's out. That guy's done though.
That's what we get for trying to meta game.
No, when we have like proximity chat and whatnot.
True.
That'll be a thing. Or if we that'll be a thing. Oh my gosh.
Scared.
Oh. Wait, quiet. I hear someone like right below me.
Oh my god. Well, that was scary. Someone hiding in a corner.
Okay, got another. Oh, frick.
This is back
Did I get him? No way. Dude, if that guy was shooting at me with like 20 health, then he is, or she is very aggressive.
I have 9 health.
I don't know if it's just
Oh, I
like
got
a
him.
comfort thing, but I really just enjoy Rifle A.
Same.
still.
Yeah, that's my go-to.
Super good at like every range.
Yeah,
It
it's
feels
a good
meaty
all-around
too,
one.
just like
That's what the
shooting
A's
someone.
kind of are. They're just good all around. Shotgun,
Mhm.
rifle,
True.
You had a lot of stuff.
general purpose. Dude, how did that person die? Where'd they go? They Batmaned me.
Okay, I just got another. I almost feel guilty. Like I should have
you
said
do?
something. No, I just killed another person. I had
You
no
do you,
idea.
man. You go get the dead drop.
You deserve it.
I like. I wish I could reach out and be like, "Hey, I'm over here," and then we can make a decision. Like, are we gonna fight this out, or we're gonna team up?
Well, if no one extracts, you both fail, right? So
Yeah, you're right.
No dead drop, yeah.
so you can like agree to be on a team, and as that timer starts ticking down, you don't know what's gonna happen. Uh-oh, I'm gonna die. No way!
Okay, gotta loot him now.
Curse you, press. That's gonna be my go-to when I die from fall damage.
What's that?
I'm just gonna
Where'd it
curse
go?
you.
You just gonna curse
There's
me?
his backpack.
Yeah.
And some
I
firm
didn't
handshakes in the
change.
chat.
I'm just gonna commit it right now. I'll just say a number.
Wow, that was a good. I had a pretty good round right there. Unfortunately, I didn't make it out in anything though.
This person
How many
didn't
people were left?
have much good stuff.
I had 4, and I started pushing up to the very top floor, which
Danger.
Brad has VSM in the chat.
Is that? What do you mean by that? Oh, I see. I see that. But that's the thing, is I feel like I'll have a really good game, and then the next match, there's a very good chance that I just get wiped in like the first minute.
Yeah, they're like, no wonder Dr. Disrespect hired this guy.
Stop it.
Slicing them up.
I would like to get the jet drop, but I don't know
Oh, Greg Cox
where
from
these last
Handshakes.
people are. Jeez.
Are you kidding me? Fall damage got me, Ryan. I'm committing that right now.
How's it going, Brad?
Dude, it's bad,
Oh.
man.
Dude,
push a
I
new
was
build,
the
just push a new
second to
build.
last person going for a backpack. I missed my jump, and hopefully Nick threw me a save. It didn't show that.
that'll be the next snapshot. The first one is single player, then 6 weeks later we do multiplayer, and then 6 weeks after that we tune the fall damage. That'll be the next big reveal.
That's
Well,
the big
already-
reveal.
All right, I just loaded in. Oh, I got 17 people.
Oh, I just started my queue.
This is I cannot believe this matchmaking.
Oh, I see him. Okay, I'm going aggressive. I gotta get down there though. I'm nervous about the jump. Okay,
Oh my
wish
gosh, this
me
hard.
luck.
There we go.
There we go. Oh, I'm at. We'll see if it's worth it. I know that there's like 2 health stations in the comms relay, so if this person knows that and just healed up, then I'm in trouble. Unless I can be a sneaky guy.
I'm betting on
Can
you,
you be a
Brad.
sneaky guy?
Dude, I don't know.
Be a sneaky guy.
I'm gonna like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like.
Oh my god.
Shoot, if I go by the windows, there's a silhouette here. Maybe I'm low enough where. I don't know. We'll see. If I like
God,
stand
these-
in between the pillars of the window, then I'm gonna be. In
These
the
like spiral
cover.
staircases are insane death traps in the beginning of a match. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
What up
Yeah,
the
avoid it all
infiltration?
costs.
Yeah, all my early like firefights are on these stairs. There's always like 3 or 4 people just piling in. It's so funny.
I was. Oh, I could extract right now. My extraction's like right in front of me. But
I have to extract. I gotta start saving some weapons. I got nothing.
Ryan, where are you?
I just killed a person trying to heal. I'm in comms relay floor 2. Oh my god. What? Oh, I disconnected.
Yeah, me too.
oh no.
I heard footsteps coming too. Oh. Can I jump in another one?
Just got in one. 16 people.
I swear it's me and one other person in the comms relay, but I saw the person.
Are any of y'all's games about to end?
I've got like 3
mine
minutes.
just started.
R.I.P. DC Rap Boy.
Wait, what happened?
Someone's like R.I.P. DC Rap Boy.
Oh, yeah. It was unfortunate. I was like having a good setup.
All right. We back.
All right, this is my SMG round.
This is the one.
Wait, the SMG is awesome. I like it's too much for me to handle.
It's really good up close.
Whoa. Just got wrecked by a pistol.
Face.
Which pistol was it?
I don't know. The one.
It was like an auto one, or?
No.
I want to bait the
I
last
heard a lot
person.
of people talking about the revolver.
Yeah, I must have been the revolver.
They sussed it out within 50 minutes.
Earlier?
Yeah.
They found out the truth about
Eric and
Pistol
I.
B, pistol C.
The revolver's our only sniper rifle.
It's good. It's really good. Earlier today, we were watching someone else stream. And this guy got a headshot with the revolver and it did like 60 something damage. And I was like, dude, I've never seen that before. That thing is strong.
I've never seen that number before ever.
They just wrecked me.
The people
wasn't streaming.
The people in my match were scared and extracted, and I got the dead drop. So I got a couple more rifles, so I can play a little extra aggressive. If I die, then I'm like, no problem. I got some rifles ready.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. My stash is empty. I have never made it out of here. Every match is just a new opportunity.
It's true.
Oh, you got it.
Everything in the game.
It is fun to just like go in with nothing. I'll do that actually.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Not nothing. I'll bring pistol A at least.
Oh, you gotta do a Ryan run. No weapons.
I was doing pacifist runs.
Okay. I won't be pacifist. I'll go in without a weapon.
Yeah.
Do that crouch thing to make peace. See how many people abide by it.
Can you get away with a hip fire up close with the SMG, or is it too much?
No comment. No, crouch does help quite a bit. I crouch a lot because that with ADS, it's pretty solid. Plus footsteps.
We're going in. I literally heard someone spawn and fall pretty close to me.
Oh, that's sad. Fall damage.
No. I mean, like, at least I think that's what that noise was. Right when the game started, I heard what sounded like someone jumping.
Oh,
which means that...
Oh, I got a comic. See you guys later.
Get out.
You win.
Oh.
Maybe their spawn point is like off the ground a little bit, Brian.
I got him. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't know what the sound was, but I was definitely right that someone was like right there at the very beginning. So now I got
two SMGs. Oh my gosh, I need to get out of here.
You gotta get out of here.
No. Damn it.
Come on.
I like that the SMG is good up close, but it's also like so impossible to use from far away, which is like fair.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I can't really do it all.
I need health.
Oh, I can see the tracers above my head, dude. I'm in like the lower shipping hub area. I'm looking up and I'm just seeing people fighting right above me as I'm trying to
Go get it.
quietly heal.
Yeah, I'm healing too, actually.
But I know where the tracers
the
came
office.
from. That's where I'm
Got
heading
4 people left. I've taken out like 2 or 3, and I got a comic. It's high stakes.
My only goal right now is to get a Dr. Spasm.
It's the best first issue.
Okay.
There's a backpack. There's a backpack. So there's 2.
Baby.
Oh god, I shot by accident. They know where I am.
We got some obelisks. Alright, let's go.
I got an obelisk too. I really got to get out of here.
I got an obelisk. I just need a Dr. Spasm. I'm gonna go in the office. Crawl under a desk.
I'm hiding by a server.
How many people are in your matches? I have. It says for me. It says 9.
I got 3.
I'm at 14.
Down from 16.
None of us are in the same match.
I got 2 minutes until my extraction point opens.
3 people are just shooting at this one guy. Running across the
People are waiting.
I'm going to like the server room and I hear. Oh, that guy's gone. Okay, but I hear another one. Oh my gosh! Oh, and I heard someone heal too. I hope that's above me, otherwise I'm in trouble.
1 minute. I gotta get the hell out of here. I got good weapons. I got everything.
My own shadow scares me.
It gets me 5 times a day.
Oh, I finally got a revolver.
Wait. People are behind me. Hold on. I gotta listen to footsteps. They can't take this from me.
Oh, got it. Alright. I got a comic.
Did you really?
Nice.
Yeah.
And you extracted with it?
No, DEADROP.
Oh.
Nice.
I got 15 seconds, then I'm sprinting out of here. I'm playing it so safe. Sorry, stream.
Let's go into my highlight reel.
Scared.
Dude, I hear someone walking. I am a little scared. 2 seconds, 1 second. Where are we? What do I gotta do? It's not the worst. It's the easiest way down. Holy shit. Someone almost got me. I'm good.
Oh no! I'm getting chased.
Oh my god.
Takes the bait. Oh, he's probably gonna heal up. I'll listen.
Oh.
Get me out of here.
Oh man, I got a yeah. That revolver is awesome. I got 142 on this guy. He turned around and killed me.
I made it out.
Come on.
I'm
He's
out.
gotta be dead. He's alive.
I can breathe normally again.
Whoa. Oh, there's 3 of us. And I hear someone like real close to me.
I'm going in empty. It's like that show Alone. You guys ever watch?
Move.
It's like that show Alone. You guys ever watch that?
Oh yeah.
That's me right now.
Naked and Afraid.
Except I have
That's
blue
Alex.
eyes.
Right.
That's Alex most days.
Yeah, true.
Canada.
Oh my gosh. I think it's my best game, dude. That was scary though. Okay, me and oh, there's two more. I'm doing the same, Darren, so maybe we'll get in the same game. Got a feeling the dude's on the roof above me. Just got into the elevator. I'm gonna queue up when I get up.
All right. Just do the really fast countdown and.
I'll give you
a funny match. 3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go. That last match that I just got out of with the comic might have been my best match, like, period, to date.
Good. That's satisfying then. Now
That
it's
was
recorded forever. When your children are playing Dead Drop, you'd be like, oh, back in my day.
Let's
you
turn
should have
up
seen me.
our desktop audio. Yeah, a little bit. Like 10-20% maybe.
I did it.
A bit. Like 10-20% maybe.
I did it. A pinch.
Alright, I'm in.
Oh no. That's not good.
Brandon, was that you?
That was me.
What happened?
What got me from the roof?
Damn.
I think it was the last guy too, just so you know. Perished.
I'm in a fresh game with 16 people.
I swear there's like 2 people left.
Just got a rifle
Just
C,
like
SMG. It's a good, viable alternative to a shotgun, honestly.
Good, dude. It's a good gun.
I think I'm with you, Press.
You are with me, 14?
Uh-huh.
I'm on, well, I'm not gonna say just yet.
I'm running from.
Almost just ran off the ledge. That would have been awful.
There's a backpack I can't loot, unfortunately. Unless I get the dead drop. I'm gonna get up to a high spot and then try to bait. Not bait.
Brian, my shadow just got me again.
Scary, right?
Wholesome AF.
Hey, welcome back. If you want to keep watching gameplay, head over to Twitch or YouTube. There's a ton of variants who are streaming their games. We're going to continue streaming throughout the day. I'm jumping in as soon as we're done with this AMA. So we're going to rapid fire these questions. Because watching them play, seeing people play on Twitch, I haven't got to play with anybody all day. I want to get in there. That said, Becca has been, pulling together all your tweets, all your questions coming in. So let's start throwing them up on screen and making sure we knock them out. And there's Darren again.
Where did it go? There it is. Yeah. All right. So do you guys want to talk about, let's talk about our baby that's in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The garage is like,
the tower, all the things.
Yeah, so like this, we talked about it a little bit, earlier, and the tower or the garage was one of those things that just sort of came up of like, man, it'd be really cool if we had like this space, right? When we're talking about the player hideout and customizing it and having cool stuff to display and show off and collect in the tower, right? Because like, part of this game is looting a lot of stuff. you know? And then it's like, all right, what is that stuff? What is the use of that stuff, right? Some of the stuff is obvious, right? Oh, I found a grip. I found an optic. I found a stock, right? Obviously, that stuff's going to go into the weapon customization. But there's still all this other loot that we could do cool things with, right? Whether it's quests or challenges or give you ways to upgrade your player hideout. There's a million ideas that we could go down and explore. And I feel like the garage was one of those first early ones that everyone really rallied behind around building out a space that is an extension of your player hideout that could have something that isn't, you know, a weapon or loadout focus that you could build and expand on. And we just went to town on it, right? Steve went, started doing some lore concepts of it. Eric got in there and just went crazy with a bunch of different iterations. You know, once Quinn saw that and started getting his hands in there and giving feedback on it, it's really taken a lot of shapes to get to what you see in Snapshot 2 now. And our plans for it moving forward are just even more, right? That space itself is going to continue to get refined. But the most important thing is, like you said, your baby's sitting in there. What's the point of having a garage if you don't have something to park in it? And I'm just really excited about where we are going to go with the vehicle stuff in this game, right? And at the end of the day, I feel like, Quinn, you say it best, like every day. At the end of the day, we're making a shooter. Let's not lose sight that this game is a first-person shooter. But that doesn't mean we can't have a little fun getting to the shooting part, right? It's a little bit of fun.
Yep.
A little bit.
That was great. Great answer. I say we go on to the next one.
Oh yeah? You want to go to the next one?
Yeah, let's just do it.
No, not this one.
Oh, yeah. This is the why I said let's go to the next one. I mean, I think Rob can do 10 times 10 push-ups.
Oh, definitely.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about your ex-military career, all that stuff, bro.
Oh God. About the only thing I did in the military was push-ups. So that's about right.
Wait, I like to eat push-ups. You know those the push-up pops?
Push pops?
Those are push pops.
Oh.
Not push-ups.
That's the wrong yeah.
She eats push-ups for breakfast.
I think I can honestly do like 15 in a row.
Nice.
That's pretty good. So you can definitely do more than 10.
I think what we could do one of our streams is we could just do a Midnight Society push-up contest.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
Eric will crush.
Yeah, Eric will kill us.
All right, so this is a good one, UE5 question and also a Microsoft/console question. How have the new features and tools in UE5 impacted development? Are you using UE5's GDK integration, and how will Microsoft's NDA requirements in their developer program affect console playtests?
So I could take the first half of that question, and then the console thing. I mean, Rob, you could take that. But as far as the tools and UE5, it has been a dream. We love Unreal. We love the partnership we have there with Epic Games, and we feel like we have been able to be unlocked with what we want to do as a team, because our team is still growing and we have lots of positions we're hiring for. So check out our careers page. Sorry, that's a shameless plug, but our team is still growing. But on top of that, we are able to do a lot of things. We are able to be really quick. And that's this dead drop feature that we just talked about and mentioned how it's in the snapshot. It's in there because of the quick turnaround and how the tools are so powerful, and how our environment artists can do all sorts of great things. Like you saw how Darren was talking about the art process, and it might have slipped under the radar a little bit, but we talked about how we're developing a shader that's almost going to be like a watermark on assets in game to make it very clearly for players that this is not finished yet. And that from there is just from the power of Unreal 5 and all the tools that comes with its suite. So for us, we love working in it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been amazing just to see how quickly the team is able to build and iterate in this. And that is what's allowing us to keep this super tight schedule. I give a lot of credit to Unreal for that. Now, when it comes to the console thing, like, you know, I'm dying for a console build. I know a lot of people on the team are. I know a lot of variants have been asking about it a lot of time. And our goal is to do everything we can on the development side to make sure that we are console ready. Now, what we can't prepare for is what we have to do on the business contractual certification side, right? That is a whole machine in itself with the platforms, both Microsoft and Sony, especially because as you see with Snapshot 2, how early we are giving you access. Now, luckily, both of those platforms have a concept of early access, right? But even their early access programs are far further along in development than what our game is currently now, right? And we are very passionate about giving you the game in the earliest, most broken states it will be in, because that is where your feedback can have the most impact. Now, we are working very closely with Microsoft and Sony to try to get those special early access terms and that certification and make sure that we don't have to have any crazy NDAs, because as you guys know, if you go to an early Call of Duty event, if you go to an early game event of any, like, you have to sign your life away in these NDAs, and we're not doing any of that. We want you streaming it. We want you critiquing it. We want you showing it off, talking about it, talking to us about it. And so we're not going to do anything that's going to require you to sign away your rights in order to play the early access. So that's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo that we just have to get through. It's the boring stuff. It's the stuff I hate the most, but it's a necessary part of going to the consoles. But we definitely want to be there. We know that DEADROP's going to shine on PS5. We know it's going to shine on Xbox Series X and S, and we want to get it there as fast as possible. And we're going to do everything we can. In the meantime, we're going to make sure that we're getting full controller support in, and that you can play with the controller on the PC, so that when we can work out all the kinks and bugs associated with supporting controllers, so that when we get through those legal hurdles and those certification hurdles and those registration stuff, that there is no technical thing holding us up from pushing out keys to your Midnight Society profile. So we're working on it. It's important to us. We're going to do everything we can, and then, try to convince Microsoft and PlayStation to be as gentle and nice to us as possible as we do it.
Yeah. Awesome answer. Okay, audio settings, key bindings, melee weapons, snipers. Maybe you want to just bing, bang, boom, hit each of those.
Audio settings, yeah. Our settings are still work in progress. We want to hear, like, even questions like this. This informs us and tells us what people are looking for. That's great. We love it. We're going to get more into settings. We'll offer more of that. Same thing with key bindings, everything. We just talked a lot about console. We're also making sure our PC audience is taken care of. At the same time, we want to make sure, let's let console players even like remap and everything like that. So that is something that we want to do. Melee option, melee weapons. I love melee options, and like being able to just quickly melee someone or have a dedicated melee weapon. Those are things that we still need to talk more about. Right now, we're definitely biasing towards shooting. That is just because foundationally, that's who we are. We're not against anything like melee related. In fact, that's something we probably do want to get into, is we need as many avenues for players and player types as possible in this game. Loot, treasure, everything. So that's definitely on the table. And then snipers, please stay tuned.
Right on.
That was fantastic. Speaking of things we want to hear from the community, let us know in terms of priority. Like, eventually we're going to get to everything, right? Eventually we'll get to, well, not everything's going to be in the game, but all the different variety of weapon classes and combat types. But like, in order of priority of how urgently you want that stuff, let us know. Be vocal. That helps us make decisions when we're planning out milestones, production schedules, when Allison's doing the sprint planning, like understanding how important something like melee versus sniper rifles is. Because the reality of game development is, all the time we're coming to those moments where as a team, we're having a discussion of like, okay, we can only get one in this snapshot. Which is it going to be, right? Is it going to be snipers, or is it going to be a melee weapon? Or is it going to be another assault rifle, right? Like, we're always having conversations like that based on the time that we have in between each snapshot. So understanding your preference and priority helps us contextualize those conversations more, because, I can imagine Quinn being in a meeting and we're working on a sniper thing, and then somebody's like, oh, well, we could actually get melee in and get this other feature in if we didn't do snipers right now. And then Quinn sort of looks back at the feedback and is like, hey, that also looks like what the variants want, So that stuff really does sway minute-to-minute decisions that we have in the planning phases. So, yeah, eventually we're going to get to all the bells and whistles It's really a matter of like how early you want to see these in snapshots. Like this build, we got shotguns, machine pistols. We got a lot of cool stuff in this build. Now it's all about what's next, you know?
Speaking of what's next, can we expect customizable characters?
Simply, yes. We want customizable characters. We have our first character in the game in Snapshot 2 right now. That is just a simple vessel to show of the art style and to show proxy form. If you remember back what Darren was talking about, our art director, Darren Bacon, that is our proxy form of what a character looks like. So it's not block out, definitely not refinement or polish, but you could expect to have lots of customization over how your character looks to make your character your own. That is a big goal for us. We think it's very important for, as a player, you could choose how your player looks and not just in gear, but also physical attributes, physical attributes. Yeah. I couldn't think of another word besides attributes, but yeah.
You nailed it. You nailed it on the first one.
Well, sometimes people think of attributes like, oh, is there like, you're talking about dexterity and strength settings and all that? No. We're not talking about that. I'm talking like, hey, do you want a nice looking chiseled jawline like the Doc, or what are you going for? You know, just those kind of things.
I'm partial to the weak chin because I have one, so just saying. Just throwing that out there.
Distinguished.
I'm partial to the weak chin.
Medium. Maybe it's just, whatever. Okay, cool. Next one.
Oh, that's text.
It's text. I'll read it for you. It's cool. So with DEADROP getting more content in every single snapshot, and people wanting to cover the game either by making videos, art, or mods in the future also. I know where you guys are going to go with this one. Will there be any launch of a community kit like the DEADROP logos, but for basic 3D assets for people to use?
All you, Rob.
Yeah, so I think this touches on a few things. Initially, when I saw this question, I thought maybe they were talking about UGC elements, and now maybe they're talking about content creation stuff. At the end of the day, I think the answer is the same, right? Like, we want to empower our variants as much as possible. So when it comes to making sure that you have assets to make killer content, right? We released the UI kit, we released the logo kit, the branding kit. Any more of that stuff that you guys want, let us know. That is also a big purpose of the variant guide, is to give you a lot of artwork to work with, to use as backgrounds or however you want, right? You open that PDF up in Photoshop, you can extract out all those background images and do a lot with it. And so that's really the goal of the variant guide, is to give you a lot of 2D elements. As we're moving into the UGC element, we are going to be providing the tools, pipelines, flows for people to take content from the game and make custom skins, custom weapon skins, custom character skins, right? A lot of that is dependent on systems being up and running in the game, right? So we talked about character customization. As we finish those systems out and get them into the game and develop our own pipelines for funneling assets into them, that gives us the ability to have resources to give out to the community. So the short answer is yes. We are going to be providing you guys with templates, tools, pipelines that help you create content, not just for creating videos and stuff, but also for creating and publishing stuff that can be usable in the game itself, which I think is rad. But that's future vision stuff. That's the long road to where we're getting to, and we're taking it one step at a time, but we're always doing it with that in mind of that's what we're building towards.
And embers?
Embers, yeah, those are the babies. Those are the firelighters, man. Embers are the ones who light the creativity that create the assets to get it into it. And I can't wait till we get there. Right now, we're in variant territory. We're fast approaching Emberland.
Emberland. Cool. All right, next one. Ooh, are we gonna do another ARG?
I don't know, man. ARG's my baby. I loved it. Nick loved it. Nick already saying no in my ear, but he loved it. He secretly loved it. He loves staying up to midnight every night and launching something and then staying up till 3 a.m. playing it with the community. Listen, CC Protocol, the ARG was super fun. It was also a ton of work, but it was worth it, right? Like, I feel like it laid the foundation for a lot of the stuff that you're seeing in PvP right now, right? like people who went through the CC protocol and the ARG is going to be recognizing a lot of the little tests and stuff we were presenting to you now that you're playing in the Proving Ground. And like, I don't know, play the Proving Ground. I think there's a few Easter eggs in there that might lay the groundwork to a future of something. I see a few people already collecting issue 1. Let's see where that takes us.
Oh yeah, that sets us up really well for this next question. What is the comic for? Any insight that we can we just shed some insight on that lovely
No, I don't
artwork?
want to.
Okay.
I don't want to shed. You know what? Collect them. Make sure you keep a lookout for them in future snapshots. They're meaningful. That's all I'll say.
Okay. When can we play the game at a lowered quality for those on Start PC? Oh.
Yeah, that's something that's really important to us, is to make sure as many people can play the game as possible. So I think what we'll need to do is get back together and rally as a team and look at our min spec requirements and see how they're looking, and if there's things that we want to do to adjust them. And that is, I think, the core answer to that question is we do care about making sure that as many people can play as possible. At some point, we do need to make whatever that cutoff line is. For example, when we were talking about consoles, we're not going to go and develop DEADROP for last gen like PS4 or Xbox One family of consoles. But PC, it's got a wide spectrum. So we're trying to find that right min spec, and we'll just have to evaluate what our current min spec is to see if it's at the right level of where it needs to be to get the most people in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
An important note to that is a lot of the work the art team did in Snapshot 2 was focused on optimizing and finding the best workflow optimization for final art. So you will notice, and I've seen people commenting it on the Twitch streams of Snapshot 2, is that the firing ranges and the player hideout has already been refined. And a lot of that work was about, hey, let's see what it takes from an optimization standpoint to take something from 80% to 100%. And now that we know that, how can we apply that moving forward to every space that we build out in Fully Art? And that's the stuff that's going to allow us to sort of start unlocking those more optimized settings, right? The mid, the low. And so just so you know, a lot of the work on the art side and the tech art side from Howard and the team, this snapshot was doing those investigations and that work. And that's the work that sort of, it's unsung, right? It happens in the background. It doesn't show up on stream. Yeah, it doesn't get mentioned in the variant guide. There's no like hoopla of like, hey, we looked how to optimize frame rate on the background from 0% to 5%. But it's meaningful. And in the long run, it matters because those stack, right? Those gains that you get stack. And a lot of that was done in Snapshot 2 that you can't see. That's going to help us make sure that we are optimizing future snapshots as we go instead of retroactively.
Yeah,
so thank you, Howard, the unsung hero.
Ooh. All right. Ooh, someone just wants to give us $50 to play the snapshots.
Yeah. Hey, man. You know what? We've always said that this is a marathon, not a race. We opened up the first access pass to founders, right? The first 10,000. Just recently, we let those 10,000 who maybe got in for different reasons to decide like, hey, maybe I want to hand over my access pass to somebody else, right? So they're able to sell it to somebody else if they want it. The plan is we will introduce more variants into the fold. But right now, the key thing is making sure that we take care of the variants that we have, we get the meaningful feedback, and then once we have a few snapshots under our belts and we've built out some of the tools for collecting that feedback, understanding that balance between listening and acting and reacting, which we're doing. We're learning every single day. Then it will come time to start opening up a little bit more, right? And that application process was intense. So we know very clearly who every single person who applied is. So as we get more into the PvP competitive space, where it's like we're getting into the nitty gritty of like very detailed gun balance between different classes and advanced movement states, that's when we're going to start going back to that well and being like, all right, what are some more voices and opinions we can get in here that are maybe more focused on that side of stuff. So we don't have a date on when we're opening up the next Access Pass, but it's definitely coming. It's going to be when it's right and when it's needed. We're not in a rush. It's not a way to monetize. It's not a way for us to fund anything. So we're going to do it when it's the right time for the community. I think right now this core tight 10,000, it's still getting on its feet, right? We're still figuring out how to communicate with each other, how to really play the builds and give good constructive feedback. But I think we're close. I think we're close to knowing when we would want to open it up again. But he's right. People are waiting. People chomping at the bit, banging on the door.
It's like every day we get these questions. I know. Yeah. It's cool. Yeah, people are excited. Okay, well, speaking of more people wanting to give us money, so this is a great question. When can you guys get shirts and merch and other cool swag? We are working on a merch store. We don't know when it's coming yet, but it is very much in the works. And yeah, there's some cool concepts coming into from our graphic designer and our artists, and yeah, just a lot of awesome looking stuff that I think you guys are going to be stoked about. But yeah, we will definitely, you will be the first to know. We will let you know when that is stood up and when it's ready. Yeah. All right. Ooh. It's a cool one. Any chance we could get a game dev stream in the future showing someone working on some parts of the game?
I love that.
That's so good. The thing is, it's like a lot of the team does this all day, every day. Like if you're in our private Discord, you see them just streaming and working because we are a fully remote studio. Like a lot of our development happens over live stream and like, you know, hanging out and talking to each other in Discord chat as we work. And it's just a fundamental way of how you develop games remotely. I would love to, like, if people are comfortable, right? Some people, like, they just want to zone out, listen to their music and work. But if people are comfortable with doing something, I think that's a really cool idea. We should explore it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love watching people work. Like, not in like a creepy, weird way. It's just, it's not like I'm looking over walls and stuff, but I just like sitting in there, listening to music, chatting it up, watching somebody model or, you know, dress a level. It's entertaining. It's fun. And I think sharing that publicly is awesome.
Yeah. I think the team loves having the studio head watch them work too. It's not stressful.
Actually, Rob, do you want to just remote into my PC right now?
No,
you want to do that?
Yeah.
I just want to hang out with the boys. I just want to hang out.
Yeah, they love it. I think that's a great question though.
Yeah, I also love time lapses too, and there's no reason why we couldn't put something like that together in the future. Yeah. Just like a time lapse of someone, yeah, like Quinn was saying, and like Darren touched on with the art stages, right? Bringing it from block out to polish.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool to see that.
Yeah. All right. Damn. Yeah. Aunt Curly Mane, you're just on fire with your questions today. Will weather end up playing a factor in later snapshots for any combat or outside combat areas, not just the sector, I guess is what they're asking.
Yeah, we have had lots of thoughts about weather, not just, rain like what you've seen in Snapshot 1 and in the hideout in Snapshot 2 as well. Not just from a visual or a mood setting, but how do we get weather to play its part in gameplay? So we have some things turning in our heads, or we're brainstorming, got some ideas and things that we want to do. We've already planned out and concepted our big outdoor area that's at the tower, so you could really get weather, have weather play a part in that experience. We've also got the world that we're building, where how weather and these refiner states of the towers and what they're doing to take toxins out of the air, and how weather can play a part of that. So we feel like there is a large runway of interesting ideas of things that we could bring weather into play that is not just for show, not just graphic fidelity, which it's great for that as well. But we really want to get into having that be part of the player's decision making. Do I want to go outside because it's weather X right now, or it's weather Y, weather Z, all these kind of things like that. We want players to really take that into account in their decision making on what they want to do when they're in the tower. So love that question. That is something that we'll talk about in the future as we get more solid in some of the plans we want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for anyone that missed the first AMA, do you want to talk about sectors at all?
Yeah, we could talk a little bit about sectors. Sectors are what we are. So when you think of the tower, the refiner state, this mega colossal structure, and you've seen it in the hideout, it's in the distance. You could also see it from proving ground in a much lower fidelity state in blockout form. And that tower has, I mean, the scale is huge for us. And we want that scale to be true even when you're in the tower. We're trying not to make a game that is very claustrophobic, close quarters combat all the time. We do want some of that. Like, that is crucial. We want that variety of combat. But when it comes to our sectors, those are the big areas that break up the tower. And so instead of floor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., there could be floor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are within sector 1, for example. And then sector 2 has these amount of floors. And every sector has its own theming to it, both visually, artistically, thematically, and also gameplay wise. And so right now what we have is we're planning out all the different sectors, what role they play, how they look, color, tones, also thinking about the tower itself, the refiner state, how does it work? Like we talked about it lore-wise, but now we're actually getting into the nitty-gritty on our end. There's some exciting stuff that Darren and his crew have come up with of how does the tower work? How does it take toxins out of the air? And then what are the different stages that those toxins go through? How does that then get turned into space dust? And then how is space dust then manufactured and then shipped and all of these kind of things? So all of these need to take into account the different sectors of the tower, themes, and gameplay elements, because we want players, again, similar to the weather question, really plan out and thoughtfully take into account their decisions from not just a minute to minute basis, but also second to second basis. So that's kind of a little bit about the sectors.
Cool, thanks. All right. That's a cool one as well. How will healing work? Better yet, can you heal? This is actually very relevant to Snapshot 2 in the proving ground.
Yeah, so in Snapshot 2, you can heal. We've got very rudimentary like healing stations that you can go to. That is the only way you could heal in the game currently. And I think this is a good opportunity for us to highlight again that seeing things like healing and our healing loop and mechanic in such an early state, that is not necessarily indicative of how it's going to be in its quote unquote final state. This is just a way for us to get healing into the game because it's important. There's a high risk factor to this game. And for us, we wanted to get these healing stations in there. So the player, you have to go to it. You'll see it's like a blue light and there's like a very blue square or cube. You have to go up to it. You interact with it for N amount of time, and then you get 50 health points back. And that is, again, that is what we have in Snapshot 2. We have bigger plans for healing as a mechanic all up. We don't want to just have healing stations for people to go to, although it is very powerful as a mechanic to get people to move around the environment in Snapshot 2. So there's learnings from that. But we want to have a whole plethora, if you will, of ways for people to heal, whether it's consumable items, location-based healing like the stations in Snapshot 2. We want to have thematically similar to the sectors, different ways to heal, different pros and cons. We want to get more into, like, even our health system is very early and rudimentary right now. We're going to add on to that and offer different ways for players to think about how they're taking damage, think about how to heal, what is the best way to heal. I have healing items A, B, C, and which one should I use at this point in time. So there's lots of things, big plans that we have for healing, but yes, there's healing in Snapshot 2. Very simply put, just look for the blue colored phone booths, if you will, and that's where you get to heal in Snapshot 2. But much bigger plans on the horizon. And this is, again, we want to hear from everyone as you play. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, I love it. I think the big takeaway and core to the philosophy of healing in the future game is that regardless of how we do it, and there might be a number of ways that you can do it, they all require an action, right? And what we're not doing is we're not doing that regenerative health where you don't have to do anything but hide and sort of recoup your health. Like I think a lot of the things we're talking about, whether it's consumables or you have to get somewhere, like they all require some sort of action, risk, reward from the player to do it, which I think is exciting. And you know, all the different ways you could heal and all the different, like Quinn said, like that's up to debate, right? We're going to try stuff out, give us feedback on it. Like, let us know what you think of the health stations, even though right now we think of them as a temporary solution to get us to consumables. You know, maybe they exist in the final game if we're all digging it and loving it. And there's super high risk areas that should justify something like that. That's the exciting part.
Yeah.
Do we have one last question?
We got one more. Yep.
Nice.
What can we expect from Snapshot 3?
Oh, man. Okay, this is a big one. I think things that you could expect is definitely improvements from what we've got now. Like you could see that already. If you see Snapshot 2, we just built upon what was in Snapshot 1. And that's what it is. We're always adding. It's an additive thing that we're doing here. And the game is going to get bigger and bigger and more refined, more polished, features, all that thing coming in. So that I just wanted to say that all up, like just very generally, that's something to expect is we're going to be adding more and more and more. Now to that, you think of things that came online for Snapshot 2 with more weapons and everything. I think it's safe to, like when you look at what earlier in the stream when we had Allison get up there and she talked about the data and the findings, and one of the things that people wanted the most was a sniper rifle weapon. Well, that's something we're definitely considering now, is talking about, okay, well, if people really want a sniper rifle, that is a hole we're missing in our family of weaponry. So that's something we're really considering to bring in Snapshot 3. So we're looking at that. Something else that we're really looking at is how do we make our movement feel better and more interesting, really reward the player. And so that's getting, we're looking into more verbs of how you can move, things of that nature. So we want to provide players more options and opportunities to move, even though we're still that game that is tactical. We want our pacing to be deliberate. We're not playing a game where people are like cracked out of their minds and everything like that. So it's still very much that type of stop and pop and less run and gun kind of shooter game. But with that being said, we want our movement to feel fluid, interesting, and reward the player for decision making based on the level design and the environment they're in. And that also gets back to the sector conversation as well, where we want sectors to play differently as well, taking into account the movement verbs that you have. So those are some of the things that you could expect to see. And in particular, it's like, yeah, weapons, looking at a sniper rifle, and definitely new ways to move around the environment, not just your intrinsic player abilities, you know, like a classic one is like a slide, something that feels good from sprinting to crouch to transition state. But even like, hey, what are some things in the environment that we could add for players to traverse besides having to go up staircases and ramps and things like that? So maybe I've said too much, but that's okay. That's how we roll at Midnight Society. We're pretty transparent. We love these Q&As. We love talking with the founders and trying to be as open as possible. And that's how we feel really convicted on how we're trying to change the industry. So I'll just get off my soapbox right there.
Is there anything else that we can, any other little pieces of info that we can drop about the next snapshot?
No, I think, you know, the most important thing.
The answer is yes. Yeah. Wrong. You're
yes.
wrong.
Yes. As I think about it, yes. The great thing about these snapshots is, we're always building on it. We're always finding ways to connect with the fans. I think the general ideal here is that we want a good mixture of doing events like we did in LA, where we all get together and hang out, events like we're doing right now, where we're at the comforts of our home, so we can play the build together, we can get online, we can stream it together, we can have meaningful and still find ways to do this, connect with you, answer your questions, let you know what we're thinking, what we added, why we added it, give you context, and also give you an inside peek to the game development. I think for Snapshot 3, we have a lot of really cool refinements planned, a lot of cool additions to player movement stuff like Quinn talked about, and I would love to see us get back together again. We're working on details on where, when, how to do it. But, I think those moments have an energy to them, right? When we can all get in the same room together and hang out, it's powerful. And we want to do that as often as possible and have a good balance between the both. So keep an eye out for news on that as we get a little further along and can make some announcements. But we're pushing forward and we can't wait to get to Snapshot 3. But right now, I need to go jump on Snapshot 2 and actually play this baby.
Yeah, so we're all going to be in Discord if you guys want to head over. Thanks for joining us. We all have our own dedicated channels, I believe, under DEADROP. So yeah, there's 10. It's a 10-person channel. So 9 people plus whoever the dev is.
Love it. All right, we'll see you guys out there.
All right,
Bye.
see you everyone.
Bye.
Bye.